Stampers, Deb Valder here from Teaspoon of Fun, and Teaspoon of Fun is your paper crafting shop. It's a one-stop shop. We've got all of your paper crafting needs in there, so hop on by to www.teaspoonofFun.com and check us out. Today I'm going to show you how to use our new Luma paint, and there are so many different ways that you can use it. If you've got a mistake and you need to kind of white out the mistake, you can actually do it with this because it's bleed proof. I'm going to show you how to use a finger dauber with this, but you can also use it as a little spray for white droppings on your paper, snow, just about anything. So you're going to see me using this quite a bit. Grab yours now and work right along with me. It's called Luma Bleed Proof White. So when it comes, I just want to show you, it will come and it's pretty hard on the inside. What you want to do is just grab a little bit with your palette knife and just put it in a little container. I'm going to use my flour container for today, but just grab a little bit and then we're going to add a little bit of water to it and you're going to see how wonderful it works. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is work on our background. So I'm going to take and I'm going to spritz my background just a little tiny bit. You don't want a whole lot, but I'm just going to spritz a little bit with our mini mister, and I'm going to run it through my embossing folder. So the one that I'm going to use today is the Blooming embossing folder, and like I said, you just missed it just a little bit. Run it through your machine just like this. And I will be right back. Okay, here is. Now the reason we use the mister and mist it just before we run it through our machine is so that it actually molds the paper and it gives it such a nice depth to the paper. If you don't, it could very well crack. These 3D embossing folders, really, I can't strongly enough recommend you misting it to make it look better and to make it not crack, and these are just so beautiful. So again, I used my mini mister, I used our paper, and we're good to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to use some of my Luma paint. Again, like I said, I'm going to bring in my little plate here. Let's move this down just a tad bit. I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper on the bottom because we're going to go over the edges of it too. I'm going to bring in one of our finger daubers, okay, and grab a little bit of my Luma paint right here. Now, if yours is a little bit dry, you're going to take, you don't need a lot, okay? If yours is a little bit dry, what I want you to do is to just take and add a little bit of water to it. So I'm just going to take one of our really neat little silicone dispensers and put a little bit of water in there. Stir it around. Okay. And now what we're going to do is take our little finger dauber. Okay, I just want to make sure everything gets in there. Okay. I'm going to take my little finger dauber. And you don't want a whole lot, so I'll start and just kind of rub it off onto my scrap paper. And then very, very, very lightly, just kind of go over the tops of it. Okay. All right, mine should be a little bit heavier, and the way you can tell that is because it's a little bit runny. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now, you don't have to get rid of this when you're done. You can let it dry in there, and one of the cool things that you can do is to purchase one of our little Tim Holtz trays, and you can actually leave them in here. So if you have anything, you have paint that you're mixing up, anything that you want that's water soluble, all you have to do is mix them up in these little circles and they can stay there. I do use this one to kind of organize all of my flowers that I pre-cut, but you can also leave everything in there also. So let's see if I've got this thick enough. Let's just check and see. Good, good, good. I'm going to take and do it again. You don't want to put too much water in there because, like I said, you don't want it to be too runny. All right, let's try this again. All right, squish off all that. All right, let's try just a little bit. All right, much better. There we go. See how I'm just kind of doing some little circles? You see the difference between this one and this one? You see the difference? Isn't that awesome? And like I said, it's bleed proof, so it's not going to soak in and then you're not going to be able to see it. It's going to stay right there on top. It just kind of lays right there on top. You can do as much or as little as you want with the flowers. If you didn't want to do the stems, you didn't have to. Just pick up a little. I always let it kind of brush it off a little bit just to get off the excess. Look at how pretty that is. It just brings out the beauty of the flower. So for those of you that are getting yours in the mail now, because I've mailed out so many of these Luma paints, make sure you have all the extra little devices, the palette knife, the little silicone dispenser. Just make sure you have all of the other little gizmos and gadgets to go with it so that it's much easier to work with, all right? Again, if you don't want to do the leaves, you don't have to. But I'm just kind of making this just stand out, and the background is kind of popping also because we're making the leaves and the flower petals stand out. See how easy that is? Again, looking at the difference between the two of them, it's beautiful. I think you're going to love working with this. And remember, this is only one of the many ways you're going to see me using this. All right. So this is Luma paint on a background, a little bit of mixed media. If you're ever afraid to use mixed media, don't be afraid because it's fun. All right. And remember, this doesn't soak in. So what it's doing is actually popping it. And the whiter that, I'm just going to show you the difference. If I take this and use it full strength, all right, it's going to make it even whiter. This is just a practice, not a practice one, but just a demonstration copy. All right, so you're going to have some that are a little bit whiter, a little bit brighter. See, look at that. See, depending on how thick you make it, okay, will determine the brightness of the white. Okay, so what I'm doing is just going back over. See that? How pretty that is? So this one doesn't have as much water in it, this piece right here. What I'm doing now is just adding it to the tops of the flowers just to make them stand out even more. Play with it. It's so much fun. It is absolutely, it's just absolutely stunning when you see it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, because I have my Luma paint out, I'm going to take and grab some of my flowers. Now I pre-cut these out of this background piece. So this is going to be a layer, and you know I hate to waste paper. So what I'm going to do, this is going to actually get glued onto here, and you never see what I already cut out. You know me, I do not like to waste paper. But what I'm going to do now is to take my pieces that I cut out from the background, okay, and I'm going to layer, or I'm going to put some color on them. So this is the peony from the Luxe Peony die that we have, okay, And what I'm going to do is just take and add a little bit of color to these. Okay, just a little bit. There should be 6 petals. You don't have to use all of them. I have a whole video on this peony flower if you want to go in and check it out on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you share and like the videos that we do, and we'll keep them coming. All right, so make sure you share this with your friends, show them how easy it is, and we'll keep them coming. All right, so I should have 6 petals here. You do not have to use all of them, like I said. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's enough for now. I showed you, oh, no, I want to do I definitely want to do these little guys. I want to soften these up. Okay, these I'm trying to make just one consistency. I don't want to do a lot of shading with this one. Okay, alrighty, so now we have all of that. I'm going to take and put this aside. I'm going to take this, put that aside, and let's just begin. All right, we're going to just start adding everything together. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to take my background right here and add some of our adhesive to it. Now, when I put together cards, I love to use my Easy Runner. I use several different types of adhesive. For the layering, I do like to use our Easy Runner, and it's just so much nicer. All right, so we're just going to add that layer there. Okay, take my Easy Runner again. Here we go. I'm just going to add this to the back end of it. And the reason I'm adding it to the layer instead of the piece right here is because I did not, okay, remember, I wanted to grab the right one. So I'm going to grab this little guy right here, add it to my layer right here. But the reason I didn't put it on this one, and I definitely could have, but what I didn't want to do is to lose any of the design here. And by putting pressure on it, I could have also used my deluxe adhesive, but I didn't. All right, so there's my layers. Now what we're going to do is start layering our pieces, okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is to add our flower. So I'm going to bring my flower back in again, and I'm going to put it together. So let me grab a scrap piece of paper so you can see this a little bit better, okay? Here's that piece and that piece. I have my retractable pick, okay? And that's going to be very, very instrumental in putting my flower together. I also have my crease tool somewhere here, and you're going to need both of those for your flower. So the first piece right here, and again, remember I told you there was an entire post on this, on how to do this peony flower. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you do a thumbs up, and make sure you share it with your friends. All right, there's one. I'm going to use all 6 pieces, but you definitely don't have to. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so now we have all the pieces semi-curled, okay? We're going to use our deluxe adhesive to put it together. Now, what I like to do, and you can do it any way that you want to, but what I like to do is to put the fat piece here down at the bottom. So we're going to take our largest piece, we're going to put some adhesive right here in the middle, always putting your top back onto your glue in between. All right, we're going to take our 3 petal right here and put it, and what you're going to do is just offset it a little bit, kind of closing up these little gaps right in there. I'm going to take my little pick here and just hold it down for just a few minutes, not a few minutes, just a few seconds really, okay? Alrighty, and then we're going to go on to our next one, putting a little adhesive right there in the middle, closing up this little gap right here, okay, using my little pick right here to just hold it down. Do you see how it's starting to build up the dimension? It's just beautiful. Alrighty, that should be good. I love using our adhesive, the deluxe adhesive. It is amazing. All right, so then the next one, I'm going to use one of the bigger of the 2, all right, and just kind of put a little bit more adhesive right here in the middle. Now remember, these were already curled. Just got to put the top back on here. Whoops. All right, put the top back on here. We'll use this one right here. That's the bigger of the two. Again, just layering it here at the bottom. All right. Okay, we're almost done. Look at the dimension on this. It's so pretty. All right, now what we're going to do is do it again. And add this piece. Now we're going to just offset it. So that one I have going this way. This one I'm going to have going this way. So they're not one on top of the other. You can see how there's a little bit of, and what I love about this glue is that it is forgiving, so that if you want to kind of play around with it, that's what I said. When you're doing this right here, if you wanted to put adhesive on the back of this and just kind of manipulate it a little bit, you can. I love this glue. But there's an adhesive for everything, so you should have one of everything inside your repertoire, because you never know what you're going to need when you're going to need it. And it's at the ready when you do have it in there. All right, so here is the last piece. I'm going to offset that again. I went the other way this time. We're going to just leave that there for a second. I'm going to put this aside and let it dry just a little bit more while we work on our words. So let me just show you a couple of, there we go. They're just going to dry a little bit. Doesn't take very long at all, as you could tell when I was doing all the layers. So what I'm going to use is our Whimsy set, and this is one of the heartfelt condolences and sympathy sets. Inside it, it's got the words heartfelt, it's got sympathy, and it's got condolences. And sometimes you just need one or the other. For this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use heartfelt condolences. So I'm going to show you, I already put the condolences together. Okay, so that's going to go down there. And then I'm going to show you how I did. I like to layer these in threes, but you definitely don't need to. I just think it gives it even more depth. And with a background like this, putting 3 of them on there really works good. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I want heartfelt there or do I want it up there? We'll figure it out. Let me show you how I did the, let me just show you how I did the 3 layers, all right? So what I do is I start on the back with my adhesive, okay? And I just dot it on here. This is such amazing glue. In between, if you put the cap on, it does not dry out. It's got an amazing tip. It's not too watery. It's not too thick. It's just the best glue I've ever used. And I'm not saying that because we sell it in the Teaspoon of Fun shop. Make sure you check it out, www.teaspoonofun.com. It's because it really is the best. All right? If you have any questions or need to get to our shop fast, up in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little teeny eye. Click on that and it'll get you right to it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my other heartfelts, okay? And I'm going to take my tweezers and take this, just kind of poof it off a little bit. And we're just going to start putting it together. Alrighty, so I got it started. And then you just line up one on top of the other. I love the way this looks. It just gives it such dimension and depth. See how easy that is? Good, good, good. Alrighty. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do, add it now to this right here. Again, it is so easy with this glue. www.teaspoonofun.com, and it's our paper crafting company. There we go. You can just Google it. We come up. We're there. Our business has grown so much. We just love it. All right, now we're just going to add. And that's what's nice about this glue, is that it's very forgiving. See how I'm just kind of taking my tweezers, and this one was a long word. That's why it was a little hard to use with the tweezers. Most of my words are little, but this one is kind of long. So there we go. So now I'm going to just take my pick, and I am just covered with that Luma paint. It's mixed media. You're supposed to get dirty, but it washes off because it's water soluble. I just love looking dirty. Ta-da! Okay, there's our heartfelt. Alrighty, now let's take, I've got condolences somewhere here. Let's take the sympathy off because we're not going to use that this time. I'll use it on the next card. Alrighty, so this one right here, I used prayers. Unfortunately, I do need to do a lot of, quite a few sympathy cards, so that's why I'm kind of gearing them towards those. All right, so here's this. We're going to put this on first, and then I'm going to show, I think I'll put that there, and then put this in the middle for this one. Yep, so what I'm going to do now is to take my scrap paper, take my heartfelt right here, and just dot it. I'm not even squeezing this. And it lasts so long. You can tell because I'm not using a lot of it. And it just adheres so nicely. Whoop. Remember to put the top back on when you're not using it. I can't say that enough. Okay, let's work with our heartfelt right here. Alrighty, right up here at the top. Heartfelt. Let's see. Make sure that's nice and straight. Alrighty. I'm going to grab my, this is another tip, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and push that over. And this is our Stampendable. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, and what that does is it gives it a nice even press. Alrighty, and let's grab our condolences. Where did you go? Alrighty, and we're gonna grab our paper and add our condolences. And then I know where to put my, I know where to put my flower if I put my words on first. Does that make sense? Ta-da! I'm so glad to be back doing my videos again. I missed them. Alrighty. Alright, so let's take this. I'm normally using my tweezers for this, but because my hands are already so dirty, I decided to just go for it. Okay, here's our condolences. Again, just lining everything up. Making sure it's straight before I push it down. Let's see how we did. Good job. Alrighty, let's grab my paper. And there we go. It just gives it that nice, easy, and because this has some felt on the bottom of it, it really gives it that easy slide. Alrighty, and now what we're going to do is to add our flowers. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of lay it out, just so I know where to put my my leaves. Okay, so just about there. I'm going to grab my scrap paper again and put a little bit just on the bottom. Okay, because I want the leaves to be, there we go. I want them to stick up. Okay, so there's one. And here is the other one. All right, now for my flower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two of our regular but small. Nope, those are my thin ones. I'm going to take my regular ones, my thick ones here. And these are our foam squares. Love these. All right, I'm just going to take two of the little ones and put them side by side. Okay, and that's just going to be the next thing to be added. Now, if I needed to, I could take my little finger dauber and just go along anything that I needed to. If I wanted to do it with my heartfelt condolences, I could do that too. What I'm going to do now is, hang on one second, I'm going to add some of my little jewel drops, okay? And I like pouring them into our little triangle here because they come in different sizes. These are fairy drops is what they are. All right, and so what I'm going to do is to grab some of my adhesive. I can either use this because it does dry clear, or I could have used my crystal glaze. I'm just going to put a couple of drops on here. Just a little added bonus here. I'm going to grab my jewel picker, and let's see. I'm going to go for the littler ones. So let's see. Alrighty, and then they just drop on there just like that, and that'll dry clear. Here's another little one, and one more. There we go. So right now they kind of look white, but as soon as it dries, it'll dry clear, and it looks like little dewdrops. They are adorable. So that is my post for today. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. Again, teaspoonofun.com. It is our little shop, and it is filled with paper crafting things, especially stamping. So if you have any questions, like I said, get a hold of us. You take care. Have a great day, and thank you so much for stopping by. I just want to show you one more time. Here I did prayers. Here I did the same little heartfelt flower with my For You. And again, using my little finger dauber, I added some color right here to this one. So many ideas. Hop on over to teaspoonofun.com. It is a blog. It is a shop. You're going to find so many ideas. Thank you.